Morning, folks. Today's soap is brought to us from Caties Bubbles. This one here has a, according to the website, it says a spicy, sweet, woody, earthy type scent. And it, for me, it's hard to describe. With it being blended like it is, my nose picks up something. If I didn't know any better, amber, vanilla, maybe. It's hard it's well blended, and my nose has a hard time picking up what I'm actually smelling here. I can say though, one thing about Caties Bubbles, this is my my third soap here. Second soap, one cream, depending on how you look at it. At any rate, the scent strength is very consistent across the, I guess you might say, across his three soaps that I've used, and which to me is, how can you say, it's pretty impressive to be able to do something like that, to keep it consistent scent strength wise. In other words, it's there, it's present, it's not overbearing, it's not in your face, but you know it's there, noticeable. I'm going to follow the shave. I got the bowl over here. I'm going to follow the shave up with Hega. This is some pretty good aftershave. If you follow Maddie and Shave Butcher Johan's channel, you'll see this from time to time. This is pretty good stuff. It comes in this version as well as I guess you might say like a lime green type color. I got both of them. They're nice. Oh, the scent on this one here is, and it says on the front, it's a good thing because I'll never remember, is citrus and cedar wood, and it feels like it kind of works well with what I got here. And using Proraso pre-shave this morning. Already put a hot towel to the face, and I guess I use a fair amount of pre-shave. I work it into my face, and that's what I got left. If you can see, I've used a bit of it. This is going to last a little while. Let's see here. I'm still focused on the razor and the bowl over here. Got Crown King's alum block here, complete with rubber band this morning. Going to be following up with the witch hazel Quinn's. This is a rose scented witch hazel, and off camera I used the Shaven Sailor beard oil. And I've got it whipped up here with a Omega brush. This one here is a boar knot. You'll see this handle, or a handle similar to this, with their synthetic boar also. And I've got it whipped up here. That's another thing I should mention. It can handle some water. This soap is pretty good about it being able to handle some water. Matter of fact, I might add some more water to this. It's since I got started here, it's kind of thickened up just a bit, but this, the way I got it whipped up right now, it's very creamy. It's yogurt-like. It's not quite drippy, but it is definitely, I mean, I've added quite a bit of water here, and it has taken it just fine. And for me, that's about the consistency I like my my lather, if you will, is on the creamy side, or a yogurt. Perhaps, you know, depending on what I'm shaving with, even drippy. Very wet, moist. You can kind of see what I'm talking about there. It's just, it whips up quite nice. That's really nice. The shaver of the day. This one here, I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about it. The blade I have, the blade of choice, if I can get all the shave cream off my hand, I'm using a Gillette silver blue blade, and it comes wrapped, double wrapped in a wrapper like this. This wrapper here doesn't cover all the blade, but most of the blade. Shaver of the day, this is a Gillette Super Speed. This one here, best I can tell date wise, would be at the earliest be mid 1947 going into through 1950. Reason I say that, there's a couple of reasons. I'll show you. I doubt that the camera will pick it up. There's not a date code for this particular shaver, and what helps date at least the time frame, there's the blade there, is that this particular Super Speed has notches, and that was put in. They started doing that in about the mid 19, if I remember right, mid 1948, 47. I'm sorry, and that's when they started to use that bar going across the middle. They start putting notches on it, and then they started using date codes in 1951. And from what I understand, there might be some 1950s in the fourth quarter that may started with the date code, but basically the majority of what you may find out there starts in 1951. So this shaver, I figure, follows probably in between 1948 to 1950, somewhere in there. But this one here, like I say, it falls in that area there. That it's a small time frame in the grand scheme of things. It's, in other words, in that 2-year time frame, or 2.5, depending on how you want to look at it. It's a very smooth shaver. I've used this one before. When it comes to the Super Speeds, if you're, I guess you might say, if you're not that into vintage shavers, Super Speeds are, to me, are the ones that have a lot of history. Gillette's got a lot of history with their shavers, but the Super Speeds, they're pretty nice shavers. I've got this one here. I have a Super Speed with the black plastic knob. As far as I can tell, I don't know that they shave that much different in between them, but I know they're well built, well designed. And to stop and think how long, I got slopping lather everywhere. These shavers are, considering the times and what you find modern, mass produced, or whatever like this, these are well designed. How can you say, back in the day? I'm wanting to say I think the first twist to open was 1937 maybe? I can't remember right off the top of my head. I'd have to look again. But twist to open shavers, well engineered from back in the day. And to a degree, not a whole lot has changed since then when it comes to twist to open. Smells great. Like I say, the scent is there, but it's not a overpowering. It's just enough to let you know that it is there. All this kind of leads up to another discussion I'll have here pretty soon. All right, go ahead and get started here. Went ahead and decided to go with, since this is a Gillette razor, go with a Gillette blade. This blade's worked well for me. Yeah, you can see how drippy it is. I like this kind of lather. It works well for me. Paints on real easy. Comes off the razor without too much trouble. In other words, it rinses well. Plenty of slickness, glide. The handle on this particular shaver is I guess you might call it short, standard size. Just right where you put your little finger underneath there for control. It's what I would consider depending what kind of blade you have, it's a mild shaver. Definitely made for an everyday shave. I could use this every day without a problem. Smooth, comfortable. Just really easy to use. Like Chris Bailey says, you don't have to focus a whole lot on a shave like this. It goes really well. This shaving cream whipped up pretty good this morning. This brush is, I say it's got a bore knot. I think if I find the model number, I'll put it down below. I'll list it. All these model numbers, I can't remember all of them. I think this one here, it's got a 21 millimeter knot. I might be able to find out. Now, if I figure it out, I'll put it down below. To me, this particular size knot works well. I enjoy using it. It's not a real expensive brush. in the grand scheme of, especially if you throw in the price of badger knots. Badger brushes to me are kind of expensive. I don't know. I'm still not, how you say, really sold on a badger knot. I enjoy the boar. I don't mind the little bit of scritch. It doesn't matter. Considering that I paint, I don't really notice much scritch. Now, if you're face lathering, that might be a different story. I can understand that. But with me and bowl lathering, not only that, with it being a small knot, if you got a small bowl, I don't mind 21 millimeter knots, in other words, in a brush like this. My lather whips up the same way, whether it's 24 or 21, it doesn't matter. I enjoy the bowl lathering. To me, it gives me the opportunity to watch the lather develop, know when I want to stop, how much water I need to add. I put plenty of product in my bowl. I put a lot of soap, shaving cream, whatever I'm using. I put plenty in there. Guess you might say I don't skimp on it. I have got plenty of soap, shaving cream. I've got plenty. It'll last me the rest of my life, so yeah, I don't skimp on the soap. That way you give yourself a good chance to lather up a good lather. The lather that you like, which will be a good lather. That is one thing I have been looking forward to. And I do, especially when I was in a more of a routine, and probably will get to that here pretty quick, where throughout the week I would be shaving typically with the Shavette, straight edge. And then on Saturday it would be like a single edge, and then on Sunday it would be a double edge. Kind of gives me a little bit of a break from focusing on my shave so much, using a Shavette, and here of late a straight razor. Just an easygoing, pleasant kind of shave. Not that the others aren't, but they do take a lot of focus, especially if you're doing a video and talking at the same time. Shave's going really well. Like I said, you can kind of tell, hopefully, that it rinses off pretty easy. If that's a factor for you and how you whip up your lather. But this gives me plenty of slickness and in my opinion, a lot of cushion. More so than what a fluffy one does. I try fluffy from time to time. I just can't. For me, it doesn't work well for me. I just really like this kind of lather. Definitely could use this as a daily shaver without a problem, and even working towards, maybe if you're one that likes to go towards a BBS, I could see using this and getting there. One of the things I've been thinking about, I think I might go ahead and do it. It's been kind of a tough decision. It's something that's been floating around in my mind for probably a good 2 years. And it was kind of brought up by John Romanoff in one of his YouTube videos quite some time back. And this would be about the time that he started making his soaps. He mentions, about using a unscented soap, and then in other words a base soap, and then spending your money more on the rest of the items, like maybe the aftershave, the hardware, and that sort of thing. And if you're like some folks, you don't have huge storage space for all the soaps and everything else. So it could be something along those lines where your area to store all this stuff is somewhat limited. You just don't have a whole lot of room. So it might be to your advantage to do something like that where you have however many base soaps that you like. For instance, an unscented one from Soap Commander. I think Chisel Face has an unscented one. There's some more that are out there. Blades Grim, for instance, has an unscented soap. There's more that are out there. There's just what I could think of right off the top of my head. But using an unscented soap, or maybe even a lightly scented soap, to me, like I say, it just really depends on whether you like almond or not. Cella, in other words, by the time the shave is over with, I don't really notice the scent from like a soap like Cella. So using a Cella as your soap, or one of your soaps, if you will, that you shave with, and that way you only got 1 or 5 soaps, for instance, all of them more or less either lightly scented or unscented, and that way you got more room for your hardware or your aftershaves or whatever the case might be. And for me, I don't notice the scent of the soap after I'm done. I don't really notice it. Yes, in other words, I don't know that the scent of the soap interferes with the scent of the aftershave. With all that being said, yes, I do enjoy I do enjoy scented soap. Yes, I do. But if you're looking at restrictions and what your den can handle, I still smell that rose. It's an idea. And so I thought maybe my next few shaves, and I'm not sure how far I'll go with it. Original intent was to see how far I could go with it. In other words, I enjoy scented soaps, but how long can I go with a soap that's unscented, for instance? And when you talk about unscented, for instance, like Palmolive, Arco, not really. They have a scent to them, yes, but it's not like you're getting vanilla or a tobacco scent or something of the sort. It's Arco more so has more of a scent to it that might have been added, but it's not really labeled as such. And in other words, there are other soaps out there. Sometimes they're naturally occurring. Mitchell's Wool Fat, for instance. I don't know that you would call that scented. Some folks might. I don't. It's to me just naturally occurring. It's not, like I say, it's not like something was added to it to give it to a scent. Arco might be, but Palmolive I don't think so. The stick, in other words, using it as a base. I've got it. Matter of fact, I took a stick soap, grounded it up with a cheese grater, pressed it down in a Old Spice mug. I'll probably use it too. And like I say, that way you've got more room or money, depending on how you want to look at it, to go elsewhere. Just depending on what your needs are, I guess, if you will. And for me, it's just a thought I'd give it a try, see how I could deal with it, if you will. It's when you're used to using scented soap and then you go away from that sort of thing and focusing more on the shave itself, the aftershave, and that sort of thing. For me, since I have facial hair, another direction you could go instead of the scented soap is the scented beard oil. So in other words, not only you have the same scented aftershave, but the same scented beard oil, and there you go with that that line of thought. Same thing with the witch hazel. Yeah, there's a lot of places you could go with your money, huh? And to save money, right? That's the reason why you start doing this. This is really good stuff. My face, when I've used this, my face always feels moisturized, feels great. And the scent, like I say, it's not overwhelming. It's there. I can smell it, but it's I really like this aftershave. This is good stuff. And I'll put a link down below. Last time I priced it. This is 130 milliliters. Can't remember how much that figures out to ounces, but it's a fairly decent size container, and runs about $10, which is not bad. Not a bad price, in other words, in my opinion. Especially considering what you're getting. Boy, this the way my face feels so good. Really nice, smooth, easy-going shave this morning. It's a Sunday morning. Hopefully the weather's good where you're at. Not any more storms rolling through. Everybody stay healthy, stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.